Hey Jabbers, we are back, and this week Gabby and I are going to be talking about some wedding regrets or things that we've seen over the years that people wish they didn't do, or we wish our clients didn't do. We've seen them regret after the wedding. And maybe Gabby and I will share a few things from our own wedding that we wish would have happened differently. Maybe.
Maybe.
Um, and all of these don't have to be like pure like regrets, like it was horrible, just things that after the fact you're like, I wish this would have maybe happened a little bit differently. It would have been a little bit nicer. Um, and sometimes hindsight is 2020, you just don't know what you don't know. And obviously all of these you can take with a grain of salt. Everything's kind of based on like what your preference is, what feels right to you guys as a couple. But this is just what we've seen over the years. So we're going to share a few things, and I think Gabby and I might have a few different opinions. So we're going to talk about them. And yeah, we hope you enjoy.
Okay, let's kick this off with one that we already just talked about offline, but people need to hear this. Um, Lapel mics for officiants versus a handheld with a stand, because let's both agree that a handheld without a stand is an absolute awkward
Oh,
mess
for
because
sure.
where do you put it? The book is opening, the officiant can't do all the things, right? So
Right.
I love the idea of a lapel mic because I don't like the stand. But you brought up a good point, Carrie.
So, yeah, I was telling Gabby that most weddings that I've done, a lot of DJ companies are like, we don't want to do the lapel mic because they like go in and out, or if it's windy out, it only picks up the wind. And I was telling Gabby, I feel like it's crazy that it's 2025 and we don't have like great technology on lapel mics, but typically I'm in agreement with the DJs. Like every time we've used them, they just don't go well unless you're at an indoor venue and you don't have these like other elements affecting it. But we've just found that lapel mics don't work as well. And a lot of reputable DJ companies are just like, we have them, but we don't prefer to use them. We'd rather have a wireless mic so that the sound is top notch.
Fair.
But I do agree with you, Gabby. I hate the mic stand. I'm always telling people, especially like the officiant, I'm like, at the end, take the mic and the mic stand, move to the side, get out of the photo. You can still talk from the side, announcing the couple. Oftentimes they forget, sometimes they'll move, they don't grab the mic stand, whatever, but it's a hard thing. But I don't know, do you use lapel mics a lot at your weddings?
No. That's the thing. But when I saw this comment and we were going off of a thread that we just saw on Reddit, and I was like, oh, yes, of course. Why don't people do this more often? But you're right, probably because most of my weddings are outdoors, and I think a lot of yours are outside too. It may not even be a valid option. So yeah, I'm curious, but maybe we should have the DJ come on the podcast and we can ask like why aren't we doing this and what technology needs to happen in order to
Yeah.
have a lapel mic. Also, maybe this should be like a competition in the wedding industry where we get creative. Like there's a lot of great creative brains in this industry. What do we do with the mic stand? Because adding greenery to it is not it. That's not,
No,
that's
it's like
not it.
pointing out the mic stand even more. I never even thought about that. That is hilarious.
Should we have an acrylic mic stand that's see-through? Like, is that a thing? We need to know. There's got to be a different formation of for a mic stand, something. Let us know in the comments if there's a cool way to incorporate a mic stand.
Because the other issue with a lapel mic is it often doesn't pick up the bride and groom or
True.
groom, whatever, the couple. And so it's like, because you want to hear their vows, you want to hear them talk. Um, Sorry, I want to re-say that. So it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
neutral. Okay. The other thing with the lapel mic is it often doesn't pick up the couple, right? So I feel like that's hard because you want to hear them speak. You want to hear when they're saying their vows, all of those things. So that's the other issue where it's like you still have to have a handheld mic up there at some point. Um,
Yeah. And
But
I
yeah,
guess
let's not decorate the
no,
the mic
it's
stand.
not like a bike in a parade where you oh
Okay,
man.
next
Okay.
topic. So this is interesting. This one says have an activity or entertainment for cocktail hour along with drinks and food. If no activity, have some seating for elderly guests. I feel like for me, entertainment at a wedding, great with like live music. You know, if you have like a fun vendor that's doing like last year, I had a couple who hired a live watercolor artist. So she was like taking a photo of the couple, which also served as the favor, right? So then they were like painting them, they got to take it home. But I don't need like games at a wedding. I don't want to do a scavenger hunt. I don't want to like fill out, like get a photo of this and this. Like, I absolutely hate those types of things. I'm like, I'm here to mingle with people that I know, talk to the couple. Like, I don't need to do some like game or like take off your shoe and you know, like I know there's that game with a couple where it's like they sit back to back and they like raise their shoe and I just like I despise stuff like that. It's just I don't like it.
Listen, I no, I'm with you for the sake of the fact that people at weddings, they all behave the same, which is, and if you are a couple listening to this, you're like, no, but my friends and family really love games. Understand that. But at a wedding, the time flies by. You're in a time vortex, and time flies by so fast that your cocktail hour is going to feel like 15 minutes. And by the time they get their drink at the bar, they've had a couple appetizers. They are just pumped to talk to people and maybe, like you said, do the sketch artist, wait in line for that. But they don't want listen, and I think in our from the 10 plus years that we've both been in business, the guests don't have time to do the games. And maybe will they throw a cornhole bag? A couple people will, absolutely, but it's not the majority. And I think those games, maybe for rehearsal dinner, if that's something that you're really interested in, absolutely. But
Sure.
I did think this point from, again, we're reading this like Reddit post that we saw that was like, some of these are really genius and smart. This one, though, I was like, yeah, I think seating for elderly guests, absolutely. There
Oh,
should
for
be
sure.
like a mix maybe of cocktail tables and lounges or cocktail tables and little bistro tables with a few
Hmm.
tables. Like, absolutely. But I don't think guests need to be entertained. It's just the transition period from ceremony to reception. There is so much happening once you get to the reception that let's just give them a breather. They just want
Yeah.
to drink, eat, and drink.
Yeah. 100%. Let's see. What's the next one? Oh, I don't like this one.
No, the disposable. The
The one that
planner.
says, so I guess this person is saying no one pays attention to disposable napkins or signage, but having a simple welcome sign for people to take pics and a printed seating chart will help. But it says they had a planner that went around and asked people's names and told them their table number.
No,
Absolutely not.
no,
Like
don't do
there
that.
is nothing. I don't have time to go around doing that and like making sure I hit everybody in a 200 person wedding. And be like, that's just, you're an adult. You can look at a sign, find your own name, find the table number, and find the table inside. Like, this is just something that I feel like does not need to happen.
Agreed. And this is maybe, if we're talking about wedding regrets, this is maybe not necessarily for the client, but the planner is probably like, that was a wedding regret for me to have
Yeah.
agreed to do that. And how do you know who you went around to? Like, if I,
Right. That's what I'm
maybe,
saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
like if I just saw these people for the first time during cocktail hour, how do you remember? Did you talk to that person or did you not talk to that person?
Also, what a horrible way to ruin someone's conversation, being like, hey, excuse me, I know the five of you are talking. Can I get each of your names and I'll let you know your table number, which you're gonna forget probably in 5 minutes and then have to come find me to get. Sorry, that one, like, I don't like at
No,
all.
no. Carrie has never been so passionate about something as this moment. But agreed. We just don't have the time. It's not
No.
realistic. maybe something happened. Maybe this was an emergency situation where the
True.
seating chart flew away and landed into the pond and no one was able to get it. So let's pretend it was an emergency situation. But I hope that this is not the norm, right?
Correct.
Let's do a seating chart, people. That's not too bad. Um, Okay, I want to skip to a couple one. Okay, this one's interesting because I posted about something similar on Threads, and you guys, I got attacked. So this person says 10 p.m. is a fine time to end the
Mm,
wedding. We stayed up until almost 1:30 a.m. and we were gassed. People were leaving around 10:30 to 11. So they stayed way beyond, and they must have been partying till 1:30. I mean, the venue must have allowed them to stay till 1:30. And I said something similar on Threads where I wrote that I believed the dancing portion should only be about 2 hours. And of course I left it at that because I knew it was going to be there was going to be an uproar of comments. And I was like, whatever, everyone's commenting, it's helping my engagement. But I want to preface this by saying I understand that there are certain cultures that they do not even start partying till 11 or midnight.
sure.
And that I'm like talking about the very basic American wedding where we typically have venues that end at 10 anyway, 10 or
Yeah.
11 p.m. Now you do have places that like hotels or banquet halls and stuff like that, they'll let you go till 1, 2 a.m. But I would agree that if you've had, let's say you had a very reasonable ceremony time of 5 p.m. and you're going till 2 a.m., you get through dinner. That is so much dancing. I have found from experience that most dance floors start to empty out after 2 hours. I
Hmm.
will not say this is for everybody. Do not come at us in the comments. I understand that there are certain cultures and there are certain groups of people that are capable, that have the stamina of a young 16-year-old male, and they can go on for hours of dancing. But I don't think it's the norm.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, because I think most venues, right, you have like a 5 to 6 hour period, a rental period that you're actually having the wedding. So sometimes it just doesn't allot for more than 2 hours of dancing by the time you get done with ceremony, cocktail, dinner, speeches, all of that. I would say, yeah, even in my years, 3 hours max has been almost kind of the sweet spot for people too, right? Because yeah, they are tired, especially people who are in the wedding party. They're like, we're exhausted. And I tend to find that like 11:30 is like a good sweet spot
Yeah.
because people are like, okay, it's still like a decent time to get home, go to bed. But once you get like midnight or past, it's just getting late for people.
Yeah. And if we had one end at 11 p.m. this last weekend, and they had a live band, and it was like they ended on such a high. And that's kind of what I was saying in my threads was like, I just don't want it to end where there's only three people left on the dance floor. I would want them ending wanting more. So if they do go to a club after, then they've got their core people that's still on this like high of energy and they're ready to go and everyone else can go to bed. Um, but yeah, I think I don't not necessarily this is a regret, but maybe some people could regret ending too late and being like, well, the party kind of fizzled, at
Yeah.
midnight and we were there till 1:30.
Yeah, for sure. I think one thing that for my own wedding, that I wish would have happened differently, which is hilarious because I got married after doing this for 9 years and still like, it still just like went so like awry okay. So the main thing was like, we wanted to knock out as many photos prior to ceremony as possible, which we really did. And then during the cocktail hour, we would like do a few more of like the sunset photos and then join cocktail hour. But it really turned into like us like hugging and everyone wanted a photo, which was fine, initially. And then we like snuck off for a little bit. And then by the time we came back, it was really like 20 minutes left because we had spent all that time in the beginning really just like, saying quick highs to people. Um, but I wish like we would have just not taken any other photos during cocktail hour and had that completely done prior, or like just did it like as people were going to find their seats, we snuck off for a quick 5 minutes, got those photos, but like we felt like we just didn't get to enjoy cocktail hour and like truly mingling with people. And like my husband Jeremy always says like we had an amazing like charcuterie table, and I was so sad because I really didn't get to experience it. And he kept like going over to it, and then we'd be like, "Hey, we need you for a photo." And he was like, "I just wanted to stand there and like eat from this amazing charcuterie table." Um, and so I feel like I just wish like it goes by so fast. And so I think for me, like, and we also had a day prior where we had an event and like got to chat with people, which highly recommend. So you're not feeling like I need to talk to everyone on the day of. But that was just something for us that I'm like, I wish I just would have had more time to like chill and hang out with people and didn't focus so much on the photos.
Do you think extending it, like extending cocktail hour by 15 minutes would help that? Like if we said to, because we both have a lot of couples who really want to enjoy cocktail hour.
Yeah.
And if we told them, hey, let's do an hour and 15
Hmm.
so that you at least get a solid 30 minutes of cocktailing
Yep.
in there. And then also when there is a display, a charcuterie, because we had that at our wedding too. And I'm with you. I think I ran over and had one piece of cheese at one
Yeah.
point between photos to like not pass out. But making sure our caterer gives us a mini board, I think
Hmm.
would be so great. And I work with caterers out here in Nashville that they always come to me as the planner and they say, hey, what would you like on the platter for the couple? And I usually say a little mix of everything, give them little samplers, and they'll even ask if the wedding party is also doing photos, like, should we bring it to
Mm.
the wedding party? And I still appreciate that because we may not think about it in the moment, but the caterer can
Yeah.
take care of that. And also bring them their drinks. I usually ask the couple ahead of time, like, what do you want your first drink as a newlywed
Oh,
to be?
same. Yeah. Yep.
And the couple
Because
this
it's a
weekend,
nice little touch, right? You're like, as soon as you're done with the ceremony, it's like, here's a drink waiting for you.
yeah, and your mouth is probably really dry because you've been
Yeah.
nervous during the ceremony and you have to like smile and you're
Hmm.
dehydrated. So, um,
So I
yeah,
think you saying that you had to grab a piece of cheese so you didn't almost pass out goes back to a lot of people don't think about this. I try to tell couples to coordinate this with their wedding party or whoever, family members, but always having some sort of food in the morning, right? Like oftentimes the wedding party family is starving by the time they get to the venue for photos. And it's like, we don't have anything to offer you yet. And so, like, always just put someone in charge of getting breakfast, a brunch, lunch, whatever it is. So people are well fed and hydrated before the craziness of like photos start, ceremony, all of that kind of stuff. But it's something people often overlook.
it is. And as planners, it's not something we think about for them either, even in the full service. And something Carrie and I were talking about offline. I even wrote myself a note here and I said, maybe this is an add-on service that we add from our team where we have a dedicated person that's just on food for the first half of the day. And then that person you can pay them and be gone, or you can have them come and assist the rest of the afternoon. But I do think that would alleviate a lot of stress from the family and from the wedding party. And you also don't know the dynamics there. Like, is the family really dependable, or is the couple more like, I'm the one that's usually taking care of everybody? So
Mhm.
having us be in charge of that might be a nice little add-on. And we could take orders, ahead of time. I'm
Yeah.
brainstorming out loud, but I think that's something I might suggest.
Yeah. I like that idea a lot.
Okay, can we talk about? Okay, we need to preface this by saying, what have you seen happen at the end of the night when guests are saying goodbye to the newlyweds? What, Carrie, in your experience, has typically happened?
I mean, I would say the majority of people leaving find the couple on the dance floor to pull them off or give them a hug, say goodbye. Um, it's rare. I mean, I occasionally see some people just be like, okay, bye, like Irish goodbye type of thing. And that's usually maybe like the parents' friends or whoever that are like, we don't need to say goodbye. It's fine. They're busy. They're on the dance floor. But often it's like I just see the couple constantly saying goodbye to people kind of in that last like hour and a half. And they are being pulled from the dance floor.
Same.
I feel like you could just Irish goodbye, especially if you already talked to them earlier in the night. Like, I don't remember who said goodbye to me and who didn't say goodbye, nor would I hold it against
Right.
anybody.
That's the whole thing. I don't think the couple would feel bad at all or be angry at all if you didn't say goodbye to them. They're literally at the peak, the height of the night. They're having the most fun on the dance floor. They're maybe a little drunk, TBD, depends, but they're having a blast. And at this point of the night, they're probably with all their close friends. It's their group. Let's not grab them to say goodbye.
Especially if you're going to see them the next morning at a brunch. You don't need to say goodbye to them that night. Just go home, go back to the hotel, whatever, get some sleep. You'll see them in the morning.
1000%. Let that word spread, people. Irish
Yes.
goodbyes are in. We're doing it.
Let's see what other ones on here. Keep speeches short. I will say this is a big thing for us, but I think we've also probably seen a lot of speeches go wrong over the years. Um, I often try to tell clients, like, if you want to do speeches and you have a lot of people that want to talk, do them at the rehearsal dinner. Or give more people the opportunity to speak then and keep the wedding day to like a very few, like a small group of people. Like maybe it's like your parents, maid of honor, best man, whoever, like a close friend. Um, but I'm like, honestly, like 2 to 3 is like a sweet spot. And make sure to tell them to keep it short, like 2 to 3 minutes. We really don't need. I saw someone posting about this the other day. They were like, we don't need you to get up there and say, for those of you that don't know
Don't
me,
know me. Oh my goodness.
it's like you were just introduced by the DJ or the
Yes.
MC, whatever, of like who you are. Um, but
That's
everyone starts their speech that way, which is pretty hilarious now that I think about it. But honestly, like 2 to 3 minutes tops is really, it keeps people's attention. You're to the point, say something sweet, sentimental. We don't need your life story. I mean, one time I had a father of the bride talk for 20 minutes, and the bride was like, he was older and he was just going on and on about her life. And she was just so sweetly like grabbing his arm, like, okay, dad, like, thank you so much. Let's wrap this up.
oh,
Um, but yeah, I mean, you can tell when people are starting to feel uncomfortable. They're just like, this is really long. Like, nobody wants to sit there for an hour listening to people give the same version of a toast.
right. And if you are a toaster and you see someone get up to go to the bar and get a drink, you know it's time. It's
Yeah.
if they couldn't sit through the rest of their if they sat through the rest of their drink and they had to get up and get another, it's you gotta go.
Yep.
Okay, one that I want to maybe end on uh,
Yeah.
is this is really interesting. So they said that the couple did all digital RSVPs and they sent out text blasts, which were very helpful. And I want us to talk about the text portion because more and more I wish my couples did that because I think that we as planners, there's a way that we can also access the platform on which we can send text and how helpful would it be for shuttle departure times or like everyone has their phone. We're not going to deny we know how many phones go up even during the ceremony. What if we sent out a text being like, put your damn phone down?
It's like, I see you. Put your phone down. Get out of the aisle.
Yeah, if you're reading this, your phone should be put away. Oh my God, we should. We just like harass people during the
That's so
ceremony.
funny. I mean, I love a digital RSVP. I think it's the majority of people want to do it that way. They don't want to like reply on a card, get it in the mail. And it honestly saves money for the couple too. But yeah, I guess the texting is a great idea. I enlisted some of my bridesmaids to text our friends who were not RSVPing by the deadline, and I knew they were coming. And so I was like, hey, can you guys start texting people? Because I didn't want to deal with it. And like that, people were like, oh, yeah, I forgot to RSVP. And so I do feel like that would be really helpful. Um, but I don't know, like, is there a service for that? How do you go about that? Is that annoying for people to like, I don't know, to gather their phone numbers? But I
I
guess
think
for
it,
gathering emails, like, why
yeah,
not just put their phone number in there?
yeah, no, this exists. I was told about it years ago, and I just didn't, I don't know, I didn't implement it. But
Yeah.
now more and more, I'm like, man, I wish I was able to text everyone. Like, what if there was a last minute change of plans for like a rain plan and we had to move locations? Like, we didn't have that this weekend, but we had it rained. We would have been in two very different ceremony locations at the botanical garden. And to get people's attention, like, yes, they were coming on the shuttle, but for those that were driving themselves in, we would have had to find a way to find them in the parking lot and tell them where to go. And I would have much rather been like group text, the new ceremony location is here under this tent, whatever it was.
I love that even for if you could like I assume you can probably set up some like preset automated text messages
Yes.
where it's like just a reminder, the shuttle is leaving from the front lobby in 15
Yes.
minutes. If you do not make it, you will have to find your own ride to the wedding. You know, like stuff like that that would just get people on time and moving and you wouldn't necessarily need a coordinator there on site to be like, get on the shuttle.
Gasping at you saying you don't need
Sorry, no, like at the hotel. I meant at the
Oh,
hotel, not at the venue. No, like when they're at the hotel and you're just like, I don't have a coordinator at the hotel getting people on
oh,
the
I
shuttle.
see. Yes.
Not advocating to get rid of our job.
Oh my God, we got to edit that out. No, I'm kidding. Yes, 100%. Let's use texts. Let's just do it because we are in a texting world. We're not going to
Yeah,
pretend that we're not going to send out secret, perfectly letter pressed notes saying the shuttle is now departing. Let's just send a
yeah,
text. So yeah.
I
And
love
I
that.
maybe I'll end on one of my regrets from my
Yeah,
wedding. I am very much like I care so much more about the experience than I do about the decor, but I have changed my tune a little bit where the decor is very much part of the experience. And I really didn't do flowers at my wedding. I had a couple bud vases and I thought I had enough. And I think it fit. I got one table's worth, like that probably. And so I wasn't a slam dunk on the design side of it, but I loved everything else about our wedding, but I just wish people would not devalue design so much.
yeah,
I think a lot of people skip it. And if you know for 100% certainty that you don't care, but I thought that was me. And when I looked back at photos, I'm like, oh, I care a little bit,
yeah.
it bothers
That's
me.
fair.
So, but other than that, no regrets. It was
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, for sure. Same. I think the biggest thing at the end of the day is like do what feels right for you. You know, like some one person's regret is gonna be obvious, another person is like, absolutely not. I want to do that or that's not happening. So figure out what works for you. And it's like learn from other people's regrets and be like, oh, that's a great idea. Or knowing that you're not gonna like that. And I think just move forward and listen, like I think at the end of the day, there's always probably going to be something that you wish you would have done differently, but some things you also just can't avoid. And it's just like, just show up, enjoy the day, and like kind of let other things go. Like let it go to the wayside and just enjoy celebrating the day.
Amen. All right, Jabbers. Well, as always, thanks for tuning in. We will see you in a few weeks. And don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify because we will read them on the next episode. And we did not read one this episode.
we we are looking for top-notch reviews.
Oh, Lordy. All right. Bye.
Bye.